Hey, welcome back. I'm Audra from Chica Co. We feed a lot of dogs in this household and boy, the costs can add up. Here's probably my best cost-saving hack to nourish your doggos on a shoestring budget. And if that's not enough, you'll be actually saving a whole heap of sad and wilted veggies from the landfill. Zero waste, awesome food for virtually cents. Did you know that here in Australia we waste around 7.6 million tonnes of food every year? That's a whopping 300 kilos per person per year, and a lot of that is fresh vegetables. A lot of our food is wasted as well because it doesn't meet the major supermarket standards of pretty vegetables. Your smaller, privately owned fruit and veggie shops don't have the luxury of turning down these guys, the crooked carrots. And this is where you'll find really good savings. Shop local, shop small. I personally don't care if our carrots are crooked. They're kind of cute actually. Or our broccoli is a weird shape. And your dogs won't either. My first tip up, I went straight to our local store and I bought up enough veggies to cook up an entire 2 months worth of food for our dogs. Buying in bulk and freezing is my first hot tip to save some dollars. I need to put this carrot down. Second hot tip is shop towards the end of the day. That's when you'll find most of the markdown fruit and veg, usually on a table at the front. Sad, limp greens, yes please. Bendy carrots, like my friend there, yes please. Soggy zucchini, get in my basket. Third hot tip, always buy what's in season. It's cheaper than buying those vegetables or fruits that are out of season. Just because you have a craving for those divine-looking asparagus, that is for you, not your dog necessarily, don't buy them when they're out of growing season. They're imported into Australia from countries like Mexico, which really bumps up the price and their carbon footprint. Your dogs have no idea, they just want to eat. Fourth tip, buy the fruits or veggies that have a short growing season in bulk. A great example of this is avocados. Off season, they can be a crazy $4 each. For this, you can get this many in season for exactly the same price. Before I get comments about how avocados are being toxic for dogs, they absolutely are not. The flesh is a wonderful, healthy way to add good quality fats into their bowls. The pip and the skin will definitely make your dog sick. Feed the flesh, not the seed or not the skin. So, here's how to give your dogs avocado flesh or bananas or whatever else you can snap up for a good price. Just mash them, blend them and pour them into ice cube trays. Freeze and pop the cubes into a Ziploc bag. Remember to name and date the bags, otherwise you'll have a freezer full of mystery cubes. This is how I make sure for my dogs get avocado flesh for around 6 months of the year. I've done an entire video on ice cube tray prepping. Check out the link below if you're interested. Okie dokie, check out this haul of amazing food that I managed to score from my local fruit and veg shop today. Just proof in the pudding here, $42.42. Isn't that amazing? So there's nothing wrong with this food. It's fantastic. I mean, a lot of this we'll be eating, later on because this is not the entire haul that I got. So I've mentioned the bendy carrots already. Check out these guys. They're kind of awesome, really. You kind of give them names. There's nothing wrong with them. They're really fresh, really lovely. I got some zucchini, nothing wrong with them again. Just some blemishes and marks on them. Got some overripe bananas. Do not worry about that because they are packed full of potassium and fibre, insoluble and soluble fibre, both very, very good for gut probiotic health. Those guys are going to get mashed and popped into an ice cube tray for my dogs. So they don't get them every day. They get them once or twice a week, 1 cube each. Again, same thing, idea here. I've got all these avocados. This cost me nothing. There's a couple of dodgy ones in there. Look, squidge, squidge, who cares? Doesn't matter, they're going to get mashed and whacked into an ice cube tray. So the base of all of this mix is always pumpkin for me. Managed to get 2 of these guys out of the haul. There's only one here because we couldn't fit it in the frame. The other one's chopped up and ready to go. Use the skin, don't peel. Use the seeds, don't throw them away. Insoluble fibre, once again, nothing wrong with them, great nutrient source. These trays have all been pre-made by the fruit store. That entire amount of food, $3.99. Yes, there are some things in here that I'm not going to feed my dogs. This is a potato and this is a potato. Okay, a couple of tomatoes, that won't hurt at all. Okra, these are like a type of squash, and these are 2 types of Asian melons. Both of them perfectly fabulous. Oh, I just saw there's a lime in there. That one will go into my gin and tonic. That's not going for the dog's food. That tray, $3.99. Same with this tray here. There's some stuff in here that I'm not going to feed my guys, but we've got some dodgy eggplant in here. There's nothing wrong with it. We've got some capsicum. As you can see there, I don't even know what else is in there. That may or may not be a cucumber. Meh, doesn't really matter. There are some vegetables that you shouldn't, and fruits that you shouldn't feed your dogs. These are first up, the most important thing, onions. Never feed your dog onions, okay? Toxic, it'll muck up their livers. So if there's onions in the haul that you manage to grab, if they're edible, you eat them. If they're not edible, chuck them. Don't feed your dogs. And on that note, blowing up the internet now because I'm Controversy 101, garlic. This cost me $2 for this garlic. Yeah, it's Chinese garlic, okay? I know this, all right? It's not what I would choose to eat myself because I don't particularly like the flavour, but it's amazingly cheap and it's very good for the dogs. So with this mix I'm going to do today, I'm going to use 2 entire heads because they're only small. Okay, garlic is very, very good for dogs. It repels fleas from the inside out. It's also a very good antioxidant. These guys over here are not dodgy. They're not marked down. These are Chinese pak choy, bok choy, all the choy families. I don't even remember the names of them. Green leafy vegetables, an absolute staple in my house for ourselves, us humans, and for our dogs. Beautiful. They're full of a substance called quercetin. Done a whole video on how to naturally give your dog antihistamines, which basically happens in all the leafy greens that you see here. One of the other choy families over here, beautiful. And then over there we've got 2 wombok. So wombok is a type of cabbage. It's a Chinese cabbage. These guys here, sad. I don't care. Those cost me 99 cents each. So there's a lot of beautiful vegetable matter in there. And then got a dodgy cauliflower. Don't care. Too bad. $1.49. Winning at life there. So yeah. Next thing, I'm going to, through the powers of editing, thank you, my husband, my darling, I'm going to get all this out, chop it all up, chuck it in a food processor, chuck it in a pot, and cook it down with some mince. So you will see how this can all turn into 30 kilos worth of food for your dogs. And fun fact, this amount of food plus the extra pumpkin, which is off screen at the moment, will make 600 servings of vegetable matter for your animals, okay? $43. Hello, people, what are we doing? This is fantastic. Okay, here's a pumpkin I prepared earlier. As you can see, I've left the seeds in there and the skin is on. Fantastic. This is the bulk of the vegetable mix that I use. Makeup. So basically all you do, I'm not going to bore you with it, chop up your veggies really roughly. I don't need to tell you to do this. You guys know what you're doing. Chop them up like so your food processor can handle them. In they go. Carrots, same deal. Skin on. Okay, all you're doing is just making it a little bit easier for your food processor to manage. I always do this because I've got some dogs who don't like beans, some dogs who don't like carrots, some dogs who don't like zucchini, etc., etc. Blended them up, not to a pulp, but just to a chopped mix. It's good. The okra, they're pretty cute and small. We don't need to do anything to those guys. Your zucchini. Again, not rocket science, guys. You can do this, so I'm not going to bore you with it. In it goes. Some green leafies, a whole lot. By the way, I've washed all these previously to the video, so there's no pesticides or anything on them. They're not genetically, well, they are genetically modified, some of them, but they've got spray on them, so just keep that in the back of your mind. Chuck in your whatevers. Again, I don't want it to be a pulp, but that's pretty much the consistency, okay? The pumpkin will cook down and turn to like a mash, which is delicious. Well, my guys love it. And in it goes, and so on and so forth. More of the same, fill up your pots, and then we're going to chop it up with some water and add our meat. Now, in the adventures of chopping vegetables, there is one more thing I need to talk about. With your sad, soggy little veggies, if there's any mould present, discard it, throw it away. Don't feed it to your dogs, okay? Capsicum is fine for dogs. Don't worry about it. I never feed the seeds. I just pull them out like that because they come out whole from the other end and you've got seeds all over the back garden. But definitely don't feed mouldy produce to your dogs. Just chuck that little bit away. The rest of it's fine. Same with this kind of thing. Okay, just get rid of those. You don't need it there. And this little gorgeous Thai eggplant. As you can see, it's an old guy. Look, see how old he is? So he sees it, but it doesn't matter. The nutrition is still there. In it goes. That's it. Mould. Get rid of. Most important thing. That's all I have to say. More blending. Okie dokie. Imagine I filled this up a little bit further. Now, here comes the part that actually makes it really yummy for the dogs. This is the meat portion of it. Now, my dogs really prefer this mix with a higher fat content meat. So I use this happens to be beef, whatever's on special, pork, chicken, turkey, beef, whatever you can find in your local supermarket. This one's a higher fat content, 18% fat, so that's good, okay? Don't go for the lean because fat equals energy. All right, so I'm going to whack that in there, give it a bit of a break up. I've been doing this for so long, I don't even bother with spoons anymore. It's quicker using your hand, guys. Now, the other thing you want to add in here is a really good quality oil, okay? Hang on, so I'm going to wash my hands here. All right, so a good quality oil. So I use coconut oil because it's got a high heat threshold on it. It's also full of awesomeness for humans and for dogs as well. Also makes it taste really yummy. So with this is 15 litres or 15 kilos of food. I use probably about 4 tablespoons. Of course, it's not going to play the game because it's cold here in Brisbane at the moment. Usually this is liquid. Anyway, 2, 3, 4. As you can see, I don't really measure much. It's just an estimate. Doesn't have to be perfect. They get this over time, and therefore, you know, as you all would know by now, variety, balance occurs over time, okay? So then we add some water to this mix. Just enough to get it going. That's about, what's that? That's about half a litre. Oh, no, that might be, yeah, that's about nearly a litre of water, okay? Whack that in there. And I'm going to pop the lid on it, pop it on the stove on low and cook it through until the pumpkin becomes squishy. And then that is it. And then we'll plate it up with a parsley garnish. Now, the magic of editing. Again, thank you, my wonderful husband. This is what we have at the end. I just wanted to go back and recap some of the important parts. This is the mix. Okay, this is what it looks like. It's chunky, pumpkin super soft. Oh, there's actually a little bit of meat in there. You can see I didn't break it up properly. And you can see the lovely oil on top there. Animal fat, coconut oil. So coconut oil and animal fat together, fantastic energy source. The base of this vegetable mix is always going to be pumpkin. The majority is pumpkin. So I made a boo-boo before when I said 30 litres. One of those big pots that I used before, that's a 15 litre pot or 15 kilo pot. So for 14 kilos, including the liquid, the fluid, which was about a litre, I had a kilo of meat, okay? Again, go back, go for the high-fat ones. These are the containers I use in the freezer. You can buy them. They're just basically takeaway containers. I reuse these. I get 5 or 6 reusers out of these in the freezer. So I try to reduce my carbon footprint, but I've discovered that plastic bags are 10 times worse. They're hard to store, they buckle, they bend, blah, blah, blah. These guys stack beautifully, so you've got maximum amount of containers in your freezer space. Write your date on the top and rotate your foods in your freezer, so you've always got a good handle on what's current and what's new and what needs to be used up first. And that's it, really. Cool. There's your money-saving, super-duper, awesome, easy casserole mix. Hey guys, if you're interested in this sort of content, please like and subscribe to our channel, and please add some comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on things. I'd love to hear some ideas for some different topics that you would like me to cover. Okay, well, that's pretty much it. Your money-saving cooked casserole mix. I portioned these out into freezer containers like this one, and they hold 1 kilo of food. That's enough for my dogs to last for 3 days. This veggie mix is in addition to their regular meats and offals. It simply gets a lot of different nutrients and fibre into them. Otherwise, they'd be missing out on their regular raw diets. So how many servings have I made for nearly $43? I feed my guys 50 grams each on the days that I give them their veggie mix. So through this mix that I've showed you today, I've got 30 kilos there. Divide that by 50 grams. That comes out to 600 serves. Okay, so 600 serves, $43. Do the maths, people. This is a great way to save on veggies, save on landfill, get great quality nutrition for your dogs. Remember, I feed less meats on the days I'm feeding these veggie mixes, saving myself a lot of money as well, and saving the squishy veggies, as I've just mentioned. Sad and limp does not mean poor nutritional value, just excellent value for money. 600 serves.